do it, but the markets gave me the
So
opportunity.
let's start here from last night.
So, just
This
executing the
was
plan.
the big
That's all we
week.
got to do. Welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time
Big
here, the
week
goal of this session is to review what happened in the
from
markets for
here
the
to
day.
here.
They talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we
So
believe our goal as traders is to identify
what
opportunity,
I
see how
did,
we could take advantage of those
hopefully
opportunities while
this
managing our
works
risk. This is
for
our first time meeting. I'm Coach Jay, been a top performance coach
everyone.
since June of 2023. Been training for the past 13 years and in the futures markets for the past 6, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with TopStep for 2 years. I've been involved in the futures industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experience, knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. Before we get into the markets, we did have Google earnings come out. Intel as well. Numbers for Google earnings per share came in at $2.81. Estimates were $2.01. Revenues came in at 90.23 billion. Estimate was 89.1 billion. Google
So
ad
right
revenue
here
came in at
is what you do.
66.89 billion. Estimate was 66.39. YouTube ads a
This
little bit lower
is,
than expected.
let me see. Hold
8.93
on a
billion.
second.
Estimate was 8.94. Cloud revenues missed there as well.
Let me see.
Announced a 5% boost to their dividend. Google surpassed
Let me
270
put
million
this
paid subscriptions. Anyone subscribing to
advertisement
anything that they have to pay for with Google? I know I am. YouTube Premium. I can't go without. I
need
cannot do
your
ads on
help
YouTube.
as well as you need my help.
I agree with you there.
I watch too much YouTube to ever see an ad.
So put
It's
attention.
like watching an NBA basketball game.
I do
Right.
this.
Exactly.
This is a box.
Exactly. Intel
with,
earnings we had as well. Israel says YouTube Premium, YouTube Music, a big place for Google pays for Google Workspace. Nice.
divided
If you,
in
maybe
two.
some people running small
50
businesses and things
here,
like that,
50
maybe
here.
paying for Google Workspace for your email.
And I do it on the
to
15 minutes.
host servers and things
So
like that
this
as well.
is the 15
Google
minute
TV, cool using it for data storage.
range right here.
Hibachi did not get here yet. I'm still waiting on it. Intel reported earnings as
6
well.
p.m. Right?
Earnings per share came in at 13 cents. Estimate
Went
was
up.
74 cents. That's a big
Went
miss.
up.
Revenues came in at
Went up.
12.67 billion. Estimate
And
was 12.31.
then it came down.
Still making some money on their
Up.
data centers. 4.13 billion. Estimate was 2.96.
I'll say
Miss here.
about
But Google's really the important one. That's probably the one that everyone is paying attention to. We
60%.
did see a spike in the equities right
This
after
is
the close. Of course, these companies are going to be having their conference calls as well, where they
And
give forward
then
guidance for the rest of, or for the next quarter at
this
least, and maybe for the
candle
rest of the
print.
year. We did see
I
Google
was here, I
spike
was watching.
from $160
getting
up to
traded.
171, so
I
about a $10
traded
spike in a
horrific.
short period of time. Trading right now at $166. Of course, lower volume time. We're really going to be able to tell the market's response tomorrow when a lot more volume can come into it. Why do we cover some of these major earnings, Coach? They're heavily weighted in the equity markets that we trade every day. As these companies go, the Nvidias, the Googles, the Apples, Amazons, the equity markets are going to go as well. So it's kind of cool to know the components of it. Anything you got on news today, Coach?
Draw a circle.
Well, the T word again.
You buy.
Yep.
Peace breaking out in Ukraine.
As soon as it
possibly.
gets close to here,
But
you have
mostly
your
all
order
just
ready,
talk
you
right
go
now.
up.
But it's positive
Low.
talk. I think that's the
As soon
underlying
as it gets here, you see rejection.
move that there's
go
acceptance
short.
that these tariffs are
As soon
going
as
to
you
have to
get
be negotiated down.
halfway,
And taking the
you
fear
sell half.
out of
Once you get
the
to
buying
the
end.
other
So I think we saw
half,
some
you
with
sell.
that news. We saw
and
some
you
institutions dipping their toe
and then you
and
get in
getting back
again.
in.
Here you
But
would have gotten
outside of
in
that,
long. As soon as this,
as you like to say, there's the scheduled news
as
and
soon
the
as the
unscheduled
candle,
news.
oh
And I
my
still
God, I
believe
gotta
the
listen to this.
unscheduled news
As soon
is
as this candle prints,
leading the
get
way
out.
here.
100%.
Or go
I
short,
don't know that we had
reverse.
any planned numbers. Okay, so we did. We had jobless claims
Alright.
come in
You
at
see those
222,000.
little candles
Expectation was
here?
222,000.
So this
U.S. durable goods
sucks.
came in at 9.2%. Forecast was 2%.
This
A
one
big miss.
gives you a
number?
sense that we're going
All right.
short.
That's a big miss.
But then
Yeah, that
again,
was a huge
you
miss.
got to look at the volume.
And
the
we had home
volume
sales coming at
tells you a lot.
4.02 million. Forecast was
Volume
4.13
is not there. It's not
million.
there.
As far as numbers go
Let's
for
see.
tomorrow, we do have President speaking or signing some executive orders. Should be in the next half an hour or so. We got Tokyo CPI, and then tomorrow we do have Canadian retail sales and the University of Michigan sentiment number, which we know has been a market mover. I will be on Fast Markets tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about that number and watching the market's response to it because it has been
Look
a
at
big
that
mover
big candle.
as
And
of
then
late.
The other ones were all green.
So let's get into these charts. There
A
are
little
35
bit.
different markets we can trade with top step
Let's
accounts,
just grind
not just
it
the
up,
equities. And today
grind
to the
it up.
downside, we have platinum down
Soon as
0.16%,
you got
soybean meal
the
down
first black
0.54%,
candle,
and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside at 2.09%.
these
Coach,
two-
this quote board is looking like it's safe to
two
buy.
lines getting together.
Is it safe? Is it safe?
It's,
Well, it
there's a
seems
lot
to
of green
be.
there.
And then you see
As
this
long as you have
right
a proper
here. The
stop
yellow
in, it is safe.
crossing
Right.
I
the
agree.
red.
I can't see the charts right now.
Got to go short.
See the charts. Let me share those with you.
Thank
Give me
you.
1 second.
These are slow, but
Oh.
hey,
I
they
thought I'm
work.
the only one that had that problem with browsers.
Now let's see the same
Right, there we go.
thing
You should be able to see them now.
on
All right.
All right. To
Rank
the
or
upside, we
sharks.
had the S&P up 2.15%, the Nasdaq up 2.79%, still kind of moving around right now, and soybean oil, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, at 3.54%. To round out our big four, we have crude oil up 0.75%, gold up 1.73%, and we already talked about the S&P and the Nasdaq. Speaking of which, Coach, I am going to go out to a daily. What are we looking at here on the daily?
Because this flowers
Well,
all
what's that
connect.
yellow line? We've been playing with it, and we settled above it
So
barely.
it's probably somewhere here.
And today,
See
I'll call that
how
allocation.
it's
Like I
it's
said, I believe
difficult
institutions
doing
are
it with
feeling it's
Renko
safe to
charts?
start
How
allocating
about
some
we
capital
Heikin
that they've
action?
probably withheld. We've closed above the 20-day moving average.
What
Looks
is
like the
this?
objective is
Some
to the
kind of
50-day moving average. Interestingly enough, I
whatever it is
believe we
remove.
closed above the April 9th daily.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And that has been the candle we've been talking about since we printed it.
So tomorrow, being a Friday, any kind of positive news comes out, I think we're going to run to that 50-day real quick.
Yep.
But this is don't like to project, but I can plan if that
Okay.
happens to take and manage risk. So
this is
a
the
pretty
first
positive
candle
action.
that printed.
Pretty positive. So correction, we did not
Is
close
that-
above that high.
So
That high
here
is
a little different.
19,386.75. Right now we're trading 19,350. So we did trade above it, but we did
Because
not
we're
close above
working
it
with the
yet, right? We still got a half an hour. Price action still going to kind of move
Let's
around.
just leave it like that.
Settlement is going to be lower than that price,
So
but
we tested
markets haven't
here.
closed officially yet, so we could potentially trade higher.
I'm going to move it over
In some of the
a
equity
little
markets, we
bit.
did
I'm going to
close
show
higher.
you something I took.
Look at the
You
S&P.
see that shave?
The high of that candle is 55.20. S&P is currently trading 55.21. So we may close higher here. The Russell,
huge.
looking like the strongest of them all,
Yeah.
pretty significantly over that high. And then the Dow, Dow has played some catch up.
That's huge.
We are still holding that 20-day moving average in the Dow as a resistance, and we really haven't even tested the high of that April 9th candle. Maybe there's some opportunity in here for the Dow to play catch up, or if money's going into tech and out of the components of the Dow, do we see this kind of hang out at these lows?
One does count. So the fourth one you
Yeah,
get
interesting.
in.
You know, the Dow being the blue
And
chip
hopefully you got in. You're right. Which
Index.
is the same thing
index,
we saw earlier.
it's held up
But
better.
it gets you a little bit more,
that's a safety place,
especially
Right.
here.
And now, like you said, I think the catch up is the Nasdaq and then the S&P. But
Yeah.
It lets you stay in the
still,
game.
pretty positive. Like I said, pretty positive action. And all of those,
And-
we could see
Oh, wait a minute.
the pressure
That's what he was.
released and
He
buying
was my
come in pretty hard.
advertisement.
And
Ladies and
tomorrow,
gentlemen, my
being a
advertisement
Friday,
went
being
out
towards the
or
end of the
went
month,
away. But
being that
it's basically
this
very
tariff talk
simple.
is going to be settled one way or the other.
I hear.
Yep, 100%. So there's an interesting comment from Alex in the chat here. Volume today doesn't feel like we should be where we are. Hopefully some more volume comes in tomorrow. It's a good point, Alex. If we look at, and just kind of by nature, markets that are moving up do so on lower volume. It just kind of is what it is on the daily. The markets have this natural bid, and buyers might not be just rushing in to, be convinced about buying higher prices, right? But when there's fear, everyone's scared, and we see markets sell off a little bit quicker. But you're right. We did trade up near those highs on kind of decreasing volume. So it'll be interesting to see what actually happens. And again, we've been selling off for 2 months because of the tariffs pretty much, and we don't really have a resolution. So anything can still happen, right? Coach, would you say we're in the clear right now?
Well, I would say that it's the selling pressure is definitely abated.
Yes.
Now, that's what I'm talking. Tomorrow we could see when I say allocation, that be institutions who have delayed purchases come in, and what do they allocate? Buying.
Right.
So if that happens, and we talk about a bear market rally, this could uncork. Two things. This is a pretty big move over the 20-day moving average. One of the technical signs that the selling has stopped. So, and a great point, the volume's not there. That's why I call it the selling pressure has stopped.
Yep.
And once again, if buyers come in, they're not going to come in passively. So, still not a bear market, but I mean, I could see a rip-roaring rally tomorrow. The way I'm seeing this. Like I said, if that volume comes in, they're not coming in to buy one S&P. So I might.
Right.
I might move. I might move to the mini.
I'll take one of those. All right. Let's go to a shorter time frame. Let's go take a look at a 30-minute chart. And I got some questions. What are the indicator names alongside the 20 moving average? I'm using a moving average triple, right? Because I have the 20, 50, and 200 moving average here. The only other indicators I have are top step levels, VWAP, and volume. But let's take a look at the half hour open from last night. Shout out to Dakota. Slow markets was a marathon yesterday. He had a nice short on in a 2.5 hour slow markets when it's normally an hour and a half. But last night's price action kind of gave us exactly that, Coach. By the time we got on for the Guppy moving average was there as well, Alex. See, chat does not miss a thing. I don't use that. That's on there for the reversal challenge only. So I took it off my charts. Last night's price action was pretty range bound. Didn't really get much of a direction until we got into deeper into the Asian session and then into London. So really nice short off the
Let
high of
me
this range
see
that Dakota
what we
took.
got
I
here.
don't remember exactly what his target was, but we had the gap
That's
that we opened the week
not
with.
it. Why
And
you not
actually, we did not open the week.
you?
We had the gap from
You're in March.
Wednesday's price action. So basically what we did was trade down into about 50% of that gap and bounce, and it held. I kind of, for me, coach, I'm looking at this as this is a satisfied test of that gap. I don't know that it necessarily needs to fully close. We traded into it a decent amount where there was really no price action here at all. We traded it and the market held up from there. When you see something like this, traders that might think gaps have to fill.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we go back, we're going to find one.
Oh, yeah. Find a couple. We go back a couple years.
What I'd like is, you have that 50% into the gap, but one of the things, look at the structure when it happened. This is light volume.
Yep.
We have a wick. Is it a hammer? If I had a hammer?
Almost, yeah. I guess you could call it a hammer. Yeah.
It's hammer time. Yeah, I said that. I'll do push-ups after the show. Yeah, I just couldn't resist. So, but look at that. See, on light volume, halfway into the gap, what I mean by light volume, first of all, it's at night.
Right.
So this is small volume. In other words, it's not convicted. But as soon as that stopped, I mean, that's a classic. If I'm short, and it doesn't hit my objective, and we talk about new information, that kind of structure it's a cover. I don't need to wait any longer. You're going to do it. All right.
I'm
Well,
sorry. There's a lot going on over here.
Anyway,
Actually, what's that?
Phoenix
Did we have a J
assist
trade there for a night
you
session?
Give me
elevate
1
your
second.
trading
Yeah,
at
this on this reversal here. I don't know how much volume was actually in that candle.
Not like
Let's look at a shorter
this.
time frame.
So, let's see if it's relative. Yeah, in a
Okay.
3-minute.
Not what you want to do.
Oh,
High volume here. Not really at those lows.
that was low. There was no volume there. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah. What time was that? London calling?
Okay.
This
again.
is the London Open right here. And then, yeah, about an hour into the London session. Yep.
Things. I only know the bottom was made. Still, to me, the key is the opening in the U.S. for U.S. equities. So,
Right. Give me a second here, Coach. You guys should be able to hear Coach Paul now. My AirPods died, and that's the audio source. Should be good to go now. Can you guys hear Coach Paul now?
can you hear me? Check.
Testing. Can you guys hear Coach Paul? Okay. Yes, they can hear you now.
Okay.
Thanks, Coach.
So, let's go to the opening in New York.
And I'm going to take off the regular trading hour, the extended trading hours, and just go to regular trading hours. Because this is almost a clearer example of how much this was a great buy today. We had the spike into the close yesterday. We had pretty much MOC orders yesterday. And on the open, we kind of tested right down to this 5,400. If we ignore everything that happened overnight and just look at the regular trading hours, we traded down to the lower end of the range, right? For our volume profile traders, we were, the volume profile is supposed to look.
What a difference, right?
How does it look like that?
There, oh, you almost had it there.
I was trying to use a different indicator so we can look at something a little bit different than what we normally do. But here we go. Okay, there it is. So we traded down into value from yesterday.
1, 2, 3, 4,
right?
5,
This is value. We can see all the balance that the market was in here. We bounced. We don't trade lower than yesterday's range, and we have that major 5,400 level there, which was the low of the New York session for the day. Was that the easiest buy? I don't know. I could understand how if somebody was looking at the overnight session, they might have thought, hey, do we go take out those overnight lows? Is this gap still an issue? But if we look at just the regular trading hour session, yesterday's lows, where we had that kind of volume spike that came in MOCs to the buy side, held, and we just rallied. Really, if we look at an hourly chart, Coach, I don't think we had, we didn't really have a red candle all day.
No. And it finished with a spike at the high.
Yep.
That's why I'm getting friendly to this.
Where's the
and it wasn't on big volume.
No,
it's just average volume. So it's floating up. And that's why I said if a big institution comes, which is possible tomorrow, it could ignite the engines and go.
Yeah.
Where's mine?
Got a great question from 1000 Proof here. Why are the likes so low? You guys can do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We very much appreciate it. Thank you all for joining here today. We've got 723 of you here doing this market review. All right, Coach, anything else that we want to talk about? We didn't really look at a 3-minute chart. We talked about it on the 30, but we can see it here, right? On that open, New York session open, a lot of us are looking at this opening range trade, and we had the first 3 minutes, and volume never traded below 5,400. Even on that open where we have these market on open orders, that there's going to be a ton of size trading there. 5,400 major cycle level. Anyone who's trading the S&Ps is going to know we're trading 5,400. Quick rejection. We can see, does the volume that trades the day prior matter for the session coming up, right? We have a lot of traders that use volume profiling. You might look at a point of control from a prior day as an area of interest. Is this a J trade right here, Coach?
With that, yeah, you could say that because look, it never took out those lows.
Right.
Fucking precise,
once it got over the high,
look,
it exploded.
Yep. Yeah, close above that high, and it was just off to the races from there.
Retest.
So
it's interesting on that. I preempted on the S&P
retest
on a 3-minute.
Boom.
It didn't on the opening.
And boom.
It closed for 3 minutes below the open.
That's all she wrote.
Yes, it did.
And I preempted it on 1 unit of risk, but without the VWAP leaving, it was a small loss. But I looked at it, and the VWAP left the range, and I'm like, okay, I get it now. And you hear me talk about I usually just trade one side of the market,
right?
But there was new information.
I want to find out something.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, guys, I gotta go.
And that was pretty.
Reach out to
when
me.
we put the VWAP in there, it was pretty obvious.
Yep.
Also,
I want to learn too.
let's look at the 20 bar